My name is Daniel, and this is what happened to me when I was just 13 years old. An experience so strange, so chilling, that even after more than a decade, I can still feel the weight of it pressing on my chest whenever I remember it. It was during a school vacation. My family decided to visit a city that has always been known for its deeply layered history, shaped by the Portuguese, Dutch, and British during their colonial times. I can't tell you its real name, but I'll call it the Old Port. It was a place we had visited before, but that last trip, it became the one I can never forget. On the second day, we went to the famous Red Square, the heart of the city. Imagine it. Wide cobblestone streets, old Dutch-inspired buildings, painted in that distinctive crimson red. Food vendors calling out to customers, the smell of fried snacks drifting through the air, and children laughing as they chased bubbles under the hot sun. I remember the hum of voices rising all around me, yet despite the noise and life of the square, I felt strangely detached. As usual, I wandered away from my parents and siblings. I was mischievous, easily distracted, and on that day, something powerful pulled at my eyes. A red church that stood tall at the edge of the square. Its walls seemed older than the rest, its doors darker, almost whispering for me to come closer. I stood there for what felt like forever, staring. That was when I saw her. At the very entrance of the church stood a woman. At least, I thought she was a woman. Her hair was long, black, and heavy, cascading forward to cover her face completely. Her body was wrapped in a long-sleeved, pure white dress, thick as winter cloth despite the punishing tropical heat. That was the first thing that struck me. How could she stand in the sun, dressed like that, and not even sweat? But the second thing was worse. The crowd kept moving, tourists taking pictures, vendors selling trinkets, children pulling their parents toward toy stalls. People walked right past her, almost brushing her shoulders, and yet nobody seemed to notice her except me. My heart began to beat faster. I couldn't see her face, yet I could feel her gaze, cold, fixed, pinning me where I stood. It was as though her hidden eyes were burrowing straight through me. My body told me to move, but my legs stayed rooted to the cobblestones. Then, suddenly, I felt a tap on my shoulder. I jumped. My heart nearly flew out of my chest. When I turned, it was only my brother, frowning. "Mom and Dad are looking for you. Why did you run off again?" I didn't even answer him. Instead, I pointed with a trembling finger toward the church. "Do you see that woman?" I asked. He followed my gaze, squinted at the empty steps, then shook his head. "What woman?" The blood drained from my face. I spun back and she was gone. We walked away quickly, but her image stayed stamped into my mind. That night, when we returned to our hotel, sleep gave me no peace. I dreamt of her. She stood only a few feet away, her white dress glowing faintly, her black hair hiding her face. She said nothing. She only stared. And I stared back. It was as though we were locked in a silent contest, neither blinking, neither turning away. The next night, the dream returned. This time she was closer, so close that if she lifted her hand, she could have rested it on my shoulder. My skin crawled with terror, but I couldn't wake up. I was trapped in that heavy, silent stare until the morning light broke through the hotel curtains. On the third day, my family left the city, and just like that, she vanished from my dreams. I never saw her again. I tried to bury it, convincing myself it was only imagination. a child's fear made worse by the heat, the crowd, the stories. For a while, it worked, until a few months later, my uncle came to visit us with his family. He's usually the kind of man who lights up every room, laughing, joking, and cooking meals that fill the whole house with warmth. But that time, when they returned from their own trip to the very same city, he was different. He looked pale. His smile was gone. He barely spoke to me and locked himself inside the guest room for hours. The next day, he and his family quietly left. Later, when we visited his country, I asked my aunt about it. She was always cheerful, but when I mentioned that trip, her smile collapsed. She leaned closer to me and whispered, almost afraid of the words, "Your uncle saw a woman at the red church." And ever since that night, he kept having the same nightmares. The same woman. The same stare. I froze. The air left my lungs. I realized then, it wasn't just a child's dream. It wasn't just my imagination. What I saw at 13, what my uncle saw as a grown man, was real. And that is why I have never returned to that city. Not once. Because somewhere, by those red walls, beyond those dark wooden doors, a woman in white with hair like a curtain still waits, watching, waiting for someone.